Hello and welcome to another Vinyasa yoga session with me, Yogi Cecily. Look at my nice outdoor yoga session area. I have been building my garden over the summer and I like it so much. And we're going to do a little 40-minute vinyasa with a lot of twisting and not a lot of chaturanga. Isn't that going to be nice? This yoga vinyasa class is going to feature a lot of repetition, which I really enjoy because sometimes the first time you do something like this child's pose, you kind of feel stiff. And so you need to go back and forth on something to kind of loosen things up. So this is child's pose. We're going to lift and hinge the hips down, shoulders back. Inhale, exhale back, child's pose. That's one repetition. Forward inhale, see the chest will open. Back to child's pose, exhale. Let's do it again. Forward, see the shoulders roll back, the hips are dropped, the head is up. Back, child's pose, and the chest is getting a little lower. Forward, inhale, and back, exhale. It's nice if you're doing this with me because with the repetition, you don't have to watch me the whole time. You know we're just going to do it one more time to really enjoy and back. So what's next, Let's come on up to all fours. Now here's a little interesting move. I'm going to stretch out what would be your right leg and then cross it over and give a little twist. So it's a right leg extension and cross and open. It's almost the reverse of a lizard. And I sit back a little bit in the child and then I twist up. It's kind of Padikasana, if you like the Sanskrit. Yeah, cross over, twist, open. Yep. Somewhere between Padikasana, a kneeling triangle pose. So after that, let's just come on up, breathe, and give what would be your left leg a really good hamstring stretch. One of the things I'm always telling my students about a hamstring stretch is that it's about getting your ribs to touch your thighs and getting your fingers past the foot. It's really not about rounding the head down. So I wait and I stretch out long and then I bow the head down. When you do it this way, your face will come to your shin bone. All right, so nice hamstring stretch there. Let's go on to downward dog. Downward facing dog. We'll take some pedal pushers. These pedal pushers is bend one knee, straighten the other, breathe and change. When I see people do these in class, I think they go kind of fast. And I want you to notice I'm doing a little bit more than pedal pushers. I kind of undulate and then go to a twisted downward facing dog. What would be your right hand to the left ankle? And then out to plank for an inhale. We're going to repeat this. Twisted dog, right hand, left ankle, major twist. We do this again. This is one of my favorite alternate moves on a downward facing dog. It gets the core abdominals to draw up, opens the shoulder and the left arm, really gets the transverse abdominis working, stretches the IT band areas. You see the head can go all the way down in the center. That's what I'm trying to really push out of the left shoulder and twist. That's the one you want. Right, and let's take a breath, take a break from those repetitions, and step the right foot forward. Lift up with the hands in prayer, so it's a kneeling position. Let's go for some back bending. Reach back and twist over the right leg. It's a kneeling Parsvakonasana with a twist. So, into the back bend. I'm trying to show a technique where my hands go to my ears. Here's the twist over in Parsvakonasana. We're going to repeat this. great way to start a class. Hands to the ears and reach back. Open the armpits. Take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale, twist over. One thing I'll tell you about this video is I don't always do everything the same way, so you're going to see some variation. But I do try to stay consistent. Hands go back with the ears and reach way back. And then twist in the lunge, a twisted kneeling Parshva Konasana. So good. Take a break. See, nice repetitions. And then let's go to Padikasana, the gate. Left hand down, right arm reaching. Here's another favorite pose. A lot of people now doing Padikasana. I will tell you why. We're going to take both hands down to the right ankle. More and more, we're getting out of doing straight ahead sun salutes and working in the twisting poses and side bending. So here we are, Padikasana, oblique abdominal side bending. Take the breath, open up, and then twist over to the right ankle. This is a little, TVA, a little inner thigh stretch. See, I'm getting nice and low and supple around the ribs. More and more, I'm talking about suppleness in the ribs. A lot of us were sitting all day and we're losing suppleness. We're losing the ability to bring the body to the leg, you see. So now the body goes down over to the right leg. It's not all about stretching your legs. I think a lot of folks have been doing yoga for a long time and still think they are stretching their legs. We have to find a way to get suppleness. You see, I'm really enjoying that one around the ribs. And now we're downward facing dog, facing what would be the left side of your mat. Well, that's nice. Pedal pushers. Look how I'm moving around my ribs and shoulders. Look at how the pelvis and oblique abdominals are working in the pedal pusher. So that's nice. I'm trying to arc and curl, get the head down. So there's a lot of different things we can do in downward facing dog that aren't Iyengar perfect form because of suppleness. Okay, so now we're on this side. We're going to take the kind of upward stroke, kneeling and back to child's pose. And we're going to repeat this. All fours. It's almost upward dog, hips down, chest up. Inhale. Exhaling back. And again. We're going to come up, see, almost upward dog, but it's on the knees, chest up, shoulders back, sending the gaze up, squeezing into the hamstrings. And back into a child's pose. And again, hips down, chest up, shoulders back, really wanting to try to spread open the chest. And back into the child's pose. So good. Oh my. You see, I'm trying to wiggle and loosen the shoulders. My goodness, which is loose shoulders. Shoulder opening is suppleness around the ribs. Here is what would be your left leg cuts across. This is that sort of kneeling triangle pose, Padikasana twist. Not exactly sure what to call this. It helps to open the IT band. Gets the TVA working to draw the leg through and rotate the rib up. So just a nice, new, interesting move. And you will notice we have not done Chaturanga Vinyasa. So sometimes I like to give myself a formula that doesn't have so much of that. Okay, what would be your right leg comes through. Look how I'm really working to get the ribs out and forward. Look at my hands go way past the foot. Only after all of that do I bow down. And you can tell my ribs, my waist, my ribs, my chest, my face, everything connected to the leg. And that happens because my hands are so far forward. You see, that's the way you want to think of that kind of hamstring stretch. All right, we're in downward facing dog. So good. We love it. And the twisted dog. You know, I'm doing this video. I'm in Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area. It's about 7 p.m. in September, Labor Day, September the 2nd. Look at the little breeze. Twisted dog to plank. Inhale. Exhaling back. Twisted dog. See, your left hand goes to the right foot, the right ankle. I use that grip to twist more and open my shoulder. We'll do this again. I will tell you, my last outdoor video, if you're following this on YouTube, you'll hear me refer to my shoulder being injured. Well, all of that is gone. My shoulders feel so great. One more, twisted dog. So I want to encourage folks. I'm stepping further back because I want more opening. I want to encourage folks, if you have an injury, you can recover. May I recommend you work with a trainer, work with a therapist, and give yourself time. Well, that took a whole year. Really a little bit less, but a year later, my shoulders feel great. Here's the back bending from a kneeling position. Prayer position twist over a kneeling Parsvakonasana. We're going to repeat this. And the injured shoulder is what would be, it was my right shoulder. It looks for you what would be the left arm because I've got everything twist reverse, but it's my right shoulder here. I could not do this. I could not twist over my leg. You can tell it's still, the shoulder is fine, but you can tell the ribs are not as supple on that side. So you see, some of the shoulder injury, I think, that people are getting doing yoga is because the expectation is that the shoulder should open, but not the ribs, not the rib cage, not the waist, the TVA, the rhomboids and lats and everything around the ribs needs to work. So that is kind of how I healed my shoulders, by increasing mobility around my ribs. This one gets a little bit deeper, trying to get the right rib to the left thigh, as well as open the hip flexor. Okay, nice. Padikasana, the gate. Padikasana translates into the gate. I love this little flow vinyasa. You go away. This is actually Padikasana B. And then stretch down. This is a stretch in Padikasana. So if you want to be legit with your cueing, it's Padikasana B, goes away. This is the gate, and then I stretch down, a twisting stretch. So you might be wondering, what is Padikasana A? I know. I'll do that in another video. Look, breathe, open, expand. The oblique abdominals must activate if you wish to open the ribs on the opposing side. Big inhale, stretching down, twisting, right? And yes, my shirt is on backwards, but sometimes when you're doing a video, you're like, wait, is this shirt on backwards? Yes, it is. It's okay. I will also tell you, why am I doing this in a voiceover? Because of course I go out in the yard and all of the dogs, all my neighbors' dogs start barking and everything. So sometimes better to do a voiceover. Okay, we're transitioning now. I love miniature Skandasana. Skandasana, very popular, especially in core power yoga, but a lot of people need to warm into it. So I call this a half skandasana. It doesn't go as low. I take it up, inhale. Both hands on the thigh so I can really reach the ribs forward. See, so much is going on around the ribs. And I think sometimes we get injured because we don't include the work in the torso. See, each one is getting a little bit lower. I'm going to come up and breathe. We're going to add on now. Here, you're going to see me mess up a little bit because I kind of forget which hand goes forward. Okay, here, I'm going to take the right hand forward. Yay. Come back into my half-sit skandasana. Sure. And then over to the other side. Skandasana first. Tai Chi pivots through the feet. This should be the left hand forward, but nope, oops, I mess up. So make sure you do your other hand. I go through the half-sit. These pivoting, what I call Tai Chi Qigong pivots, through the feet, also suppleness in the ankles. This is what is missing for many yoga students. They can't take these pivots through the feet, through the ankles. And that's what this video is really about. It's instead of doing a lot of chaturanga and showing you all a lot of that, I'm trying to show you the way that I prefer to open my hips, the way that I prefer to open my shoulders, yes, is through suppleness in the ribs. Now look how this just will naturally start to sit lower because of the repetition. If I have yoga teachers watching this, I think new yoga teachers focus too much on the vinyasa. They don't build. Look how this vinyasa builds all the way up to a crescent warrior. It comes back through the skandasana. Skandasana to the right is getting lower. Much lower. Pivot, the lunge, now becomes a crescent warrior. Look how the rear foot pushes back and the lunge is lower. The ribs are up. Well, the ribs are up because I got them nice and supple. I love a little lift working the back foot. So we go skandasana. Adding in here, adding in here now warrior two. Look how the warrior two is open. It's very big and open. And why would that be? Because of the skandasana is getting lower. So this started with high skandasanas and low lunges, which transitions into low skandasana and high lunges. I'm going to say that again. It started with high skandasana. The high skandasana becomes a low skandasana, which, see the pivoting in the feet, which becomes a high lunge, crescent warrior. All right. And the depth, so we're just working on the depth. I think a lot of students are losing the depth in their warrior poses, sort of focusing too much on getting to these vinyasas quickly. Why so quick? Why so quick to get to the flow? Make sure your flows are building in a way that generates suppleness. And don't forget the ability to pivot on the feet. Watch your students. If you're a teacher watching this, watch your students. You can tell if they're clunky around the feet. Well, now this is a new thing I'm working on. A lot of people want arm balances, but I'm trying to get people to lower their body all the way down to the ground and show that they can actually stack the knee. So we're going to repeat this. The leg will come up. I did it from a kneeling position first. Now I'm doing it from downward dog. I'm going to stack and then lower the body all the way down, and look, showing that my knee can be above my shoulder. I like to see my students do that first. Now I'm saying, okay, let's start a little Kundanyasana A. I'm going to keep the knee bent. I'm going to let my chest down a bit and send the leg higher. Now this is somewhere in between. You must be strong enough to lift the rear leg. You can't jump. I would love to jump. I would love to be able to jump the rear leg up. This next one, same thing. Bring the knee. I'm going to keep the leg straight. And then lift up. Push up. Well, your arms have to be strong. Your arms have to be strong to push up. Can't jump. So we'll do this on the other side. And I want you all just to notice the slow transitions. Notice how I build it. Instead of just like, oh, everybody, let's go to Kundanyasana A. I build it. I think my veteran students hate this building process because they just want to show off. They just want to show off their Kundanyasana A. I will remind everyone, once you can do arm balances, they're easy. Once you can do them, you're just taking a lunch break. It's the weirdest thing I know for beginners. So I like to trick my veterans and throw something new in here. And this is the newest thing I'm adding, this load the knee from a kneeling position, stack the knee, and come on down. Now, what I want to say is most of the men cannot keep their knee that high. So sometimes the guys are getting into arm balances because their upper body is stronger. And sometimes the gals can sometimes do this stack and lower. It's very stretchy. It's almost a kind of variation on lizard poses. And here I'm going to lay it down again. See the rear leg, pointed toe. See, curling back on that pointed toe. So now that's 2 times without the arm balance. And we go again. Now I'm going to keep the knee bent. Almost lower the body down, but now I have to lift the leg. And again, sometimes guys lift the leg too high, like they're kind of trying to do a push-up, you know, instead of stretching the knee that's over the arm. Well, here we go. Now it's the combination of all of these things. So you can see why advanced students just want to go to the pose, because also they just want to do it once. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We're going to repeat. And then I want to see you lift up and off. Lift your legs. Use your glutes. That is glutes. Very strong lower back muscles. Very strong upper body, arm push-ups. And then nice, oh boy, in between. You know, give your students some stretches in between. I think a lot of modern teachers, a lot of modern classes just go, okay, let's just go to the other side. Well, what about something neutral and stretchy? Not Chaturanga Vinyasa. So if you wanted Chaturanga, this is the wrong video for you. Hey y'all, my therapists out there, you can see the scoliosis in my back. You can see one side digging in, but what I want to tell people, you have scoliosis, yoga is the best thing. That is also why I'm adding so much suppleness of the ribs there. A nice wide Upavishta. You know, this video is almost over. I don't want it to be. But the dogs are going crazy around me, and it's very noisy. How can I encourage my students to practice yoga more? Yes, all of my neighbors can see me. The homes around me all have balconies, and they all can see me. But you know what? I'm like, yeah, look at my badass yoga. None of my neighbors can do any of this, so I'm just showing them how it's done. You can see that little bit of scoliosis happening. Keep the ribs supple. All right. A little bit of advanced work. I always try to pick something towards the end that I want to improve. So we're going to take repetitions and work on grasshopper. The grasshopper pose requires a twist over the side, so we're going to go in repetition, twisted chair. Top arm over the back and rotate your gaze as much as you can upward. I have one student, she can go all the way upside down with her ribs. Here's the other thing I think for teachers. Allow your students to be better than you sometimes. Don't flatten out their abilities to what you can do. If they can do something, let them soar. Let them teach you. My hips are too far to the left here. Hopefully I make that adjustment. My hips are sticking out to the left. Do I adjust that a little bit? Yeah, I have some students who are just extraordinary here. And I am not, but I try. I watch them and I'm like, oh, see how I'm tilted off to the left? I try to learn from them. Take a breath. And, oh boy. So this is squatting on the toe. Now, this is really hard for a lot of people if you have cranky knees. But if you have cranky knees, you probably also have cranky feet and cranky ankles and cranky hip sockets. If you have a knee surgery, if you have tendonitis in the knee, if you have swelling in your meniscus or something like this is not recommended, this deep squatting. But if you can sort of get here and hang out, you see I'm making a repetition. Each repetition, I'm bringing my ribs forward and down, bending in the knee more, trying to get the foot crossed over more. I specialize in the arm balances, but a long time ago I realized that you got to get the mobility in your legs. You got to get the position of the legs together first. So in grasshopper, you have to cross that foot over. I'm trying to get some deep forward fold. Do you see this rear grip with the hands in front of the shin? I learned this a long time ago. Boy, it helps you pull down into some deep forward folds. And I'm going to change the crossing. You can squat better. See how those fingers are really gripping around there? Such an extraordinary stretch. I'd like to see more yoga teachers use that in forward fold. I notice students these days do not have a good forward fold. Everybody thinks they're going to injure their back, but work on improving. Find ways to improve yourself. Find ways to help your students improve. Don't let them flatline out of fear. I've been practicing yoga for almost 30 years now. I was not very good at it. I was just not good. So what did I do? Give myself time, give my body time. Here's the beginning of the grasshopper. It's sort of a twisted chair with the leg is crossed over. You can see how I'm putting many things together. Yeah. Other side. I like this pose. Could not do it at all when my shoulder was injured. So see this arm that's crossing over, I couldn't do that last year. I couldn't push back. Well, it was like a frozen shoulder situation. Oh, Sometimes you lose your balance. It's okay. That's also why I like to repeat things. Repeat it. Wash and repeat. Wax on, wax off. Take your time and breathe. Getting the ribs lower to the center and twist. I would like to get the foot on the shoulder. I'm not really happy with that, but it's got to be above the elbow, towards the shoulder. Then you can lean in. Could not do this last year because the right shoulder would not accept. And I like to kind of get low. I really like to sort of let it down and up. I would like to come out of it more gracefully, but you know, this is why we have to work on things. This is exactly why we want to get out of the idea like, oh, I can't do a pose. If you can do 7 parts of a pose, the first 5 parts of a pose, go ahead. Here's a pistol. And all my students, mostly the guys want these pistol squats. It's coming from martial arts. It's coming from a lot of traditions, pistols. And you see a lot of pistols, dragon pistols. So, well, there it is. I kind of suck at pistols, so got to work on them. I have some students are really good. I have one student, he turns everything into a pistol, so I have to slow him down. I'm like, hold on. How can we warm up the pistol for other students? You see that foot is not placed high enough, but it will work. It's sort of sliding off already. And whoa, this side not as good, not as low, but okay. Maybe I get out of it a little more gracefully, getting out of it through downward facing dog. Step in. My pistols are better on this side. You're going to see I don't really need my hands. I can actually just grab that foot. Oh, I did need a hand. I needed a hand to stand up. And that's okay, gang. That is totally okay to think to use your hands to help you with those pistols, right? A little jump, sit. Oh, finally, can we just relax here? Yeah, we can. All right, so if you're listening to the video, you might hear some outside noises, and that's okay. So I'm doing a voiceover, and still there's neighborhood noises. So the grasshopper and flying pigeon comes from the crossover leg. So I wanted to finish this pose showing a repetition I give some of my students who have tighter hips, where you cross over the ankle into a reclining pigeon and then do some crunches, drawing the leg in. Where do we want the crossed over leg? We want the crossed over leg on the chest. So I'm going to do a repetition here, adding a twist. So the foot is crossed over in a seated position, sort of like pigeon, and then I'm going to cross over and twist. Again, so what is missing in the hips and in the legs? Suppleness in the ribs. See the way I'm twisting the ribs, pushing the knee out, right? I take a breath, reset the foot. I want a deeper crossover. I would like to get that foot on my shoulder one day. It's not there. Is it any closer than it was yesterday? Oh boy. I'm showing you all about 4 or 5 repetitions. When I train myself, sometimes I will do 10. Now here's something wackadoodle I wanted to try. I was like, can I follow the foot down to the ground? Nope. But it does sort of set up a double pigeon. And I'm going to take a relaxation, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Right, so I cross over, and I'm going to inhale, drop the left foot, exhale, reach the hands around both thighs. You can grab the top knee, but I want that leg, which would be your left leg, I want that leg to push the right leg in. So I try not to grab the left leg. I will grab and draw in, hold on to and draw in what would be your right leg. See, I want the left leg to push that in. I'm going to turn around so you can see. So the ankle is crossed. Don't fall. Let's reset. And cross over. See how the foot is on my elbow? I don't like that. That just simply has to get better. So how can the dragonfly get better? By doing this repetition. You see, this side simply does not operate the same as the other side. What I'm showing you here, this exercise here exposes that. That's what you want. Gang, remember, what you want is you want your body to show you, to tell you its limitations, to show where it's cranky, to show the whole operation, to see the ribs, because this scoliosis probably just do not twist as far as well on that side. So I'm taking advantage here, going into double pigeon. Folks, what can I tell you? A long time ago, I couldn't do double pigeon. No way. No way could I have let my face down. And for a long time, I just worked legs, 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 legs. Open hips, hip opening, all of that. Sure. It will only get you so far. All right? It will only get you so far. So I could get my legs in the position, but I couldn't get my ribs forward. I couldn't get my torso down. See, I could position the legs, but I couldn't get forward. See how I'm really working to get my ribs forward? We're going to repeat this. This is why I do so much repetitions. I love holding poses 5 breaths, but if you do traditional practice, especially as a teacher, and do a lot of holding, you almost only have enough time to do every pose once. And you can do that in a yin formula. I'm going to take a relaxation. You can do that in a yin formula. Sure, but then I'm going to use a block and a blanket, and I'm just going to really be there 2-3 minutes. Long time. Which is helpful in your double pigeon. But when you're trying to generate mobility, connectivity, you need some viscous movement back and forth so all of the joints can figure things out. Now, the next thing I'm just showing, because some of my students want me to show, is a transition from halasana to a back bend. This goes out to my student, Nick, who is trying to understand how the back arches look. I'm going to arch the pelvis. You have to fall. My buttocks is in a completely different position than where it started. So I'm just toggling this back and forth so students can see. Look at the fullness and the roundness of the belly. This is okay sometimes. And the elbows are quite close together. I'm going to put the feet down. Keep the hips up high. And then take the hands back. And this is going to make the upward facing bow, which I'm not good at. And I'm going to do repetitions because I'm not good at it. Right? I'm going to inhale and exhale and inhale again. So I'm actually doing a double breath. I'm going to inhale, exhale, and then inhale. Big inhale at the top, you see. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and then release. So some viscous, what I like to say, viscous or engaged repetitions. I mean, why not? This is sort of what we want. Then a nice long relaxation here. The breeze is flowing. Right? going to come on up. Hey, nice workout, 40 minutes. I hope you all are feeling great. I'm feeling great. I like to just sit a moment and feel all the feels. But I'm going to let you go. And I hope that you enjoyed the video and will try it again. Thanks.